What up guys, you're in garden. Welcome back to another out of context philosophy video. In this video we are going to continue with Kant. Previously we focused on features of the time he was born. Also we gossiped about his education and academic life. If you wish you can check video 2. From now we are going to look at Kant's ideas. As we said, many ideas and works belong to him. You can be sure about we don't glitter him. He exaggerated productivity and gave a lot of works. These works we mentioned constitute only a part of Kant's works. As you figured out, we have neither the time nor the competence to talk about all of these. Frankly, you should not expect to comprehend all of Kant's philosophy from an 8 minutes long YouTube video. So if you intend to get pure knowledge, please check our references and keep reading further for your entire life. Without babbling, let's continue with Kant's ideas. As you know, Kant's thoughts affected all of his successors. He has lots of ideas in various fields, but we are going to examine just a few of them. It can be rough to follow.
That's rough, buddy.
So please try to focus. Firstly, we must know what critique of metaphysics means. What does Kant mean by this phrase? Briefly, we can say that Kant's critique of metaphysics is a test applied to our knowledge. That is a pure reason by the mind itself. It is also a test of the possibilities of metaphysical knowledge and what is within the possibilities of metaphysical knowledge. This means that before we jump straight into thinking about metaphysical things, we need to determine what metaphysics is. The feasibility principles and limits of all a priori knowledge must be determined to demonstrate what metaphysics as an a priori knowledge can and can't achieve. In this way, the sources, boundaries, and the scope of the metaphysics can be revealed. And also, metaphysics will have to keep the objects of study within the limits of possible experience, if possible. In that case, let's see what the human ability to know is. Kant defined the human ability to know as sensibility, understanding, and reason. But the reason is differentiated from others which are going to be explained later. Firstly, we go for sensibility. Space and time are pure forms of human intuition, contributed by our faculty of sensibility. Secondly, for the pure understanding, categories are defined as concepts of pure understanding. And lastly, ideas are defined as the concepts of pure reason. So if you see the overall picture, we are going to talk about each one separately. In this video, we are going to focus on sensibility. Without further ado, let's go.
Can you tell the time?
Yes. I am not fucking drunk.
By transcendental idealism, I mean the doctrine that appearances are to be regarded as being one and all, representations only, not things in themselves, and that time and space are therefore only sensible forms of our intuition.
Well, Alice, it seems we both got autism, haven't we?
Yeah.
Well, that's good to know.
To understand this quotation, we should understand what transcendental idealism and as a related concepts things in themselves mean. Transcendental idealism is an epistemological term to define human ability to represent the real world by his mental process. We can say that we are similar to a workshop which creates furniture from the raw materials. Raw materials stand for the information we grasp by our senses from the external world, and the machines and tools that are used stand for our mind and ability to construct these pieces of information into general ideas, which are called categories by Kant. Lastly, the furniture stands for the final knowledge we get. In addition, things in themselves are the origin of the pieces of information that we get by our senses. For the analogy that we have mentioned, it can be said that things in themselves stand for the planks or even woods that the materials used for the furniture come from. Kant defined time and space as a part of transcendental idealism. That means space and time are part of human ability to know, which means They do not exist out of human mind, such as things in themselves. Consequently, we cannot be able to perceive time and space merely. We can understand them only through the things that exist in the external world and their chains. Think about two spheres. Their positions are relative to each other in space and their movements are perceived through our senses. After we perceive their movements, our transcendental faculties, also called intuition, make sense of them within our perception of time. In addition, by examining them, we can understand their position in the space, and only after that we can sense the existence of the concept of the volume. Therefore, we can say that our perceptions are not quite robust. Within a slight difference, our entire perception of movement can be changed. For instance, for these two spheres, it can be said that the smaller one rotates both around its axis and the larger one axis, but the larger one just vibrates. However, this explanation is not quite true. If the color of larger sphere changes from red to red and blue, you will see what we are talking about. From starting, the larger sphere has been rotating around its axis. You can be sure about we did not change anything besides the color of the larger sphere. Back to the topic, humans' first ability to know, which is called sensibility, helps us to get information through things in themselves. Again, this is the most important point. Sensibility is a qualification of humans, and it is a part of us, but we can only realize it when we observe the external world. And also again, we are implying things in themselves when we say the external world. Thanks to our sensibility, we make sense of the experiences by our perception of space and time. In this context, we should never be overconfident in anything. It can be understood how important the criticism of our senses is, and please, instead of approving your words or behaviors, try to criticize yourself. Even if it doesn't help in finding the truth, it can prevent you from insisting on the same mistakes. So, for now, take care.